Good morning, dear students of Middle 3. Today we are going to answer the questions given in the workbook, Unit 15. The title of this unit is Technology. Question number 1. Look at the table and complete the sentence with the correct form of these words. The first word is the word develop. The noun is development. Advertise, advertisement. Arrange, arrangement. Require, requirement. Now we're going to use these words to fill in the spaces given there. Number 1, have you read about the latest development in computer? Number 2, there is an dots in the newspaper for a new computer game. The answer, there is an advertisement, yes, very good, in the newspaper for a new computer game. Number 3, it's a dots that all the manual workers wear boots. It's a requirement. Yes, very good answer. The correct answer. Requirement that all the manual workers wear boots. Number 4, it's a very expensive to dots something on television. It's very expensive to advertise something on television. Number 5, the students have dots to see the teachers after the class. The students have arranged, yes, very good, to see the teacher after the class. Question number 2, choose the correct answer from A, B, C, D. Number 1 is the answer. We would go to England if we had friends or family there. Number 2, if Hassan dots older, he could learn to drive a car. And bear in mind the rule of if, that if the first verb after if is in the past simple, then the second verb should contain would, could, plus the infinitive. So here look at the second tense, you find the could learn, that means that the first verb after if should be in the past simple. So the correct answer, if Hassan was older, he could learn to drive a car. The same in question number 3, if I knew the answer, first verb after if is past simple, knew the answer to the question, I will tell, won't tell, would tell you, would, of course, because the first verb that comes after if in the past simple tense. Number 4, if Hella dots German, she might talk to the German tourists. If Hella, the correct answer is spoke, is very good German, she might talk to the German tourists. Number 5, if he read really carefully, he does understand the book, he would understand the book. The same, the first verb after if is read here in the past sentence, the second verb should contain would plus the infinitive. That's why the correct answer is would. Answer the questions. What could you do if you had more free time? The answer, if I had free time, I would, and say I would have a chat with a friend of mine, I would go to the club, I would watch TV. If I had free time, first tense after if plus simple, second one would plus infinitive. If I had free time, I would have a chat with a friend of mine, or I would visit my grandparents. Number 3, where might you study if you could go to any university in the world? If I could go to Sacramento University in California, I would study sciences there. If I could go, good here in the past simple, I would study science there. If I could go to Sacramento University in California, I would study science there. Number 3, what languages would you speak if you had time to learn them? The answer, if I had time, if I had, first tense here in the past simple tense that comes after if I had time, I would learn how to speak Chinese. If I had time, I would learn how to speak Chinese, French, Italian, if I had time. Turn to the page 22. Read and correct the underlined words. Number 1, how much did they buy the man for repairing your computer? The correction of buy is pay. Number 2, some messages on the internet are not real. They are scans from people who wanted to get information from you. The correct answer is scams, not scans. S-C-A-M-S, not scams means not real. Cheating, kind of cheating. They are scams, not scans. S-C-A-M-S. Number 3, we read about some interesting develops in science on the website. So the correction of develops is developments. We read about some interesting developments in science on website. Number 4, a sailor went into the house in the night and he took the new television. Of course, not a sailor, a robber, not a sailor. Robber, R-O-B-B-E-R. A robber went into the house in the night and took the new television. Number 5, the privacy sizes on social networking sites. Make sure that only people who you know can see information about you. The privacy settings, not sizes. The privacy settings, and it's kind of vocab given in this unit. The privacy settings. Settings here means rules, policy. The privacy settings on social network. Choose the correct word to complete the dialogue. What are you reading, Zainab? I am reading about some common internet scams or some common internet scams. Scams means cheating, doing tricks. Tell me more, or what? Tell me more, of course. Here is an example. A girl sends you a message on an English social networking site. She says that she wants to be your friend. Really? Go on or off? Really, go on, not off. Then she says that she is a student. She is the same age as you and wants to practice English with you. What else or what also does the article say? What else does the article say? It says that a person might not be your age and might not be a student. It might be someone who wants to find information about you. That's bad, or broken, that's bad. What happens, or what speaks after that? What happens after that? You shouldn't be their friend. You should use your privacy setting, not private, privacy settings. So only people who you know can send you messages. Right, what would you say in the following situations? A friend tells you that his or her brother is studying computer programming. Ask for more information. How wonderful. Tell me more. How wonderful. Tell me more. And look, after how wonderful, there is exclamation mark. Number 2, your cousin said that she had a busy day yesterday. First, she went to the shops. Then, what happened? Number 3, your friend reads only the first sentences of a long text message, then stops reading. What happened after that? What happened after that? Sorry, I will repeat question number 3 again. Maybe it is not clear in the camera, under the camera. That would be say the following situations. A friend tells you that his or her brother is studying computer program. Ask for more information. How wonderful. And after how wonderful, there is exclamation mark. Tell me more. Number 2, your cousin said that she had a busy day yesterday. First, she went to the shops. Then what happened? Question mark. Number 3, your friend reads only the first sentences of a long text messages, then stops reading. What happened after that? Exercise on page 23, complete the sentence with a capital letter, full stops, and a comma. Number 1 is the answer. Number 2, many new mobile phone shops are opening in Cairo. Many, capital M, of course. New mobile shops are opening in Cairo, capital C, then at the end, full stop. Number 3, I never open email. I, capital I, never open email, capital E. If I do, emails. If I do not recognize the person who sent them, at the end, full stop. Last Saturday, last capital L, Saturday, capital S, comma, I, capital I, visited my grandparents and my friends who live in Minya, capital M, and at the end, full stop. Read the report and answer the question. In this report, I am going to write about some common scams on the internet. Scams, as I said before, some tricks or some to cheat people. First of all, be careful when anyone says that something is free on the internet. Why do companies do this? They usually say it's free for a week or for a few days, but to get it, they need information about your bank. When the 3 days have finished, they often find that you started to pay. So if you find anything free on the internet, don't say okay, because they want your bank information, and after that they get all of their money. Another scam uses computer games. If you get these from the internet, be very careful. Often the software in this game is used to make information from your computer. To conclude this report, I think that we should all realize that there are many scams on the internet. If you are not sure about something, I ask an adult. Number one, the main idea of the report, it's about an internet scam. Number two, why should you be careful if something on the internet is free of charge? Why? I think the last line in paragraph number one is the answer. When the 3 days have finished, they often find that you started to pay. You have tried full answer. You should be careful if something on the internet is free of charge, because when the 3 days have finished, you often find that you start to pay. Number three, what does the software in games try to take your computer? The answer, I think, is found in second line, or the first line, second paragraph. Another scam uses computer games. If you get these from the internet, be careful. Often the software in the game is used to take information from your computer. Number four, what should you ask? Who should you ask if you are not sure about something on the internet? You should ask an adult, and the adult is the teacher or your parents. So the right answer is A or B. What do you think? What do you think common means? The word common means successful, happening often, not successful, funny. Common happening is happening often. Number six, the underlined word these often refers to, the word these refers to the computer games. Last question, write a report about social media. Choose a social media site that you know about. Write about when it started and why it is popular. Say why you use it and who you use it with. Remember to use capital letters, full stop, and comments. Of course, all of you know the Facebook, or use the Facebook, or the WhatsApp. Why do you use it? For which purpose do you use it? How often do you use the Facebook and the WhatsApp? How often do you use the social media? With whom do you chat with? So you can write a full report about any social media site. Unit 16. Unit 16, the title is Animal Stories. Page 28. Number 1, choose the correct answer from A, B, C, and D. A story with a moral here means lesson, story that contains a good lesson, has a message, sad ending, happy ending, no ending. Message, of course, is number 1 of the answers. Number 2, if you feel content, you are content here means satisfied, so you are, of course, happy. Number 3, if you have enough water, you are, of course, you are not thirsty. Number 4, it's a good idea to ask a wise person for advice. C. Match to make sentences. Ali had already eaten, so D. he didn't go to the cafe. Number 2, Mona hadn't read the book before, so number A, she bought it. Number 3, the teacher explained the past perfect because the match is E, we hadn't studied it before. Number 4, Walid had forgotten about the family party until he saw the invitation, B. Number 5, I had never tried Chinese food before, the answer, before I went to that restaurant. Answer the questions. What had you eaten before you had lunch yesterday? Here, in order to answer these questions, we must know the rule of the past perfect tense, especially with after and before. With before, after before, the first tense should be in the past simple tense. Then second tense is in the past perfect tense. The form of the past perfect is had plus pp. After is quite the opposite of before. With after, the first tense that comes after it is the past perfect, then the past simple. So with before, past simple, past perfect. With after, past perfect, past simple. So here, what had you eaten before you had lunch yesterday? I had eaten some salad before I had lunch yesterday. Before I had lunch. First tense after before, here past simple. I had eaten some salad, comma, before I had lunch yesterday. Number 2, what had you done before 10 o'clock this morning? I had visited my grandparents, comma, before 10 o'clock this morning. After before or after we can use a noun, no problem. But the other tense should be in the past perfect tense also. The form of the past perfect is had plus pp. I had visited my grandparents before 10 o'clock this morning. Number 3, which school had you been to before you started this school? I had been to Victory College, comma, before I started this school. I had been, past perfect, to Victory College before, if I'm before, after before, past simple tense, I started this school. Number 4, which English book had you studied before you studied this one? I had studied the book of Hello, 1, before I studied this one. Before I studied. After before, you find past simple tense. Before I studied this book, I had studied the book of Hello. Or I had studied the book of Hello before I studied this one. On page 29, matches a word and their meanings. Number 1 is answered. Borrow means take something from someone, then return it. Number 2, terrible. Terrible means very bad. Number 3, greedy. Greedy means wanting more than you need. When you want more money than you need, when you want more fame than you need, so you are greedy. Number 4, Jews. The answer is a bird that lives near water. Number 5, golden means made of gold. Exercise number 2, complete the sentence with the words from exercise number 1. Shaima didn't like the film, she thought it was terrible. Marwa asked to borrow Mustafa's phone so he could call his mother. Here Marwan, not Marwan, asked to borrow Mustafa's phone so he could call his mother. Number 3, robbers are very Dutch people. They always wanted to steal some money. They are very greedy people. Greedy. Number 4, I saw a beautiful white dust near the lake. I saw beautiful white Jews near the lake. Goose near the lake. Number 5, Khadija was very upset after she lost her dust necklace, after she lost her golden necklace. Golden necklace. Number 3, write what would you say in each of the following situations. Number one, you are with your friend on a bus when you find a watch on the floor. If you find a watch on the floor inside the bus, what are you going to say? Of course, you say, whose watch is this? Whose watch is this? Number two, you need to borrow your friend's laptop. What are you going to say? Can I borrow your laptop for a while, please? Can I borrow your laptop for a while, please? Number three, you borrowed your friend's phone and you broke it. I'm sorry, I'll buy you another one. I'm sorry, I'll buy you another one. Choose the correct word or phrases to complete the dialogue. Number one, I forgot to watch. Again, number four, choose the correct word or phrases to complete the dialogue. Dina, between Dina and Lamia. Number one, I forgot to watch my favorite TV program yesterday. I can't believe it. Oh dear, oh dear. Azza, my oldest cousin, is going to have a baby. Really? The Egyptian football team played Brazil and won the match. Really? Oh no, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I can't find my new phone. Oh no. Of course not. How wonderful. How wonderful is it for good news. There was a storm yesterday and now they can't find a ship. How terrible. Of course this is bad news. That's why we use how terrible. So we use how terrible with bad news. How wonderful for good news. When you can't believe it, you say I can't believe it. How terrible, not how wonderful. Here on page 30 you find comprehension passage. Read about Captain Scott and answer the question. It's a very good comprehension passage that contains more. Captain Scott was a famous English soldier. He loved adventure and wanted to go to the middle of Antarctica. Of course, you know that Antarctica is in the South Pole and it's very cold, full of snow. And nobody lived there in 1910. Scott started his trip with 4 other people. If they got there, they would be the first people to walk to the middle of Antarctica. They want to be the first people to reach the Antarctica. It was a long and a difficult walk, but in January 1911 they finally arrived. However, Scott found that he was not the first person to walk there. A man called Roland Amundsen and his team had arrived 1 month earlier. What did Captain Scott so after all of that he discovered that there is another man and his team who reached this place before him, 1 month earlier than him. What did Captain Scott do that was different to Roland Amundsen? What did he do different to Roland Amundsen? Captain Scott didn't have the modern equipment that Roland Amundsen had, and he didn't know how to travel in the snow as well as Roland Amundsen. So Captain Scott didn't have modern equipment, but Roland Amundsen had. And Captain Scott didn't have the experience to travel in snow as Roland Amundsen, who had great experience to travel in snow. That's the difference between them. Question number 1 is answered. Why did Captain Scott want to go to Antarctica? Because he wanted an adventure. Number 2, what did Captain Scott discover when he arrived in 1911? What did he discover? The answer is that Captain Scott found that he was not the first person to walk there. When he arrived in 1901, he finally arrived and he found that he was not the first person to walk there, to reach this place. Number 3, how do you think Captain Scott felt? How do you think Captain Scott felt when he made this discovery? And they say why. He felt great, he felt happy, he felt disappointed. and say why. Maybe you say he felt disappointed because he wanted to be the first person to reach this place, but when he reached this place he discovered that there is another one or another person who came before him 1 month ago. Or maybe that he felt great because he reached the place without having any experience or without having modern equipment or something like. It depends on you. The answer depends on you, and say why. Whether he feels disappointed or whether he feels great. Number 4. Who does the underlined word they refer to? The word they. If they got there, they here means Scott and his team. The moral of this lesson is, what do you think the moral of this lesson is? You will not be successful unless you go faster than other people. You should be faster than the others in order to be successful. Always plan very carefully. You should set a plan very carefully before you do something. What is the lesson of this story? Don't work too hard because it might be for nothing. Don't do a lot of efforts in working. Or adventures are useful. Anyway, he got many lessons. Anyway, he got many experiences. Anyway, this adventure was so useful for him. Though he was not the first person to reach this place, and he discovered that others reached this place before him, but he got many lessons, many morals, many experiences. So the adventures are useful. You write your own story with a moral. You can make up a story or write a new story like the one above. Use this one. Do you have any adventure story? Tell us this adventure story. Think about the message of the story and write the moral at the end. Try to think of a story that happened to you like this. Then what is the moral or what is the lesson which you learned from this story at the end? Okay, thank you. See you later. Goodbye.